On this episode of PowerGridTalks, I sit down with Tammy Duncan of the National Sisterhood United for Journeyman Linemen. We talk about the Climbing for Lost Linemen event they host, which is an event that honors the lives of linemen lost in the past year. One by one, a lantern is placed for each name, serving as a powerful reminder of the people lost but never forgotten in this trade. It's a moment that's hard to put into words. This isn't just about remembering those we've lost, it's about why safety matters, why we look out for each other, and why getting home matters. We also go into all the things Tammy does behind the scenes to make it possible to help these families when they need it the most. Take a few minutes to watch, remember, and never forget the names behind these lanterns. Let's talk about it. You're listening to PowerGridTalks, from the bucket trucks to the boardrooms. I'm your host, Tom Williamson, a journeyman lineman with over 15 years in the trade. Here we bring you real stories and real conversations from the field to the executive suites of the electric utility world. It's about the people who keep the power flowing and the grid strong. Let's get to work. Okay, so for today on PowerGridTalks, we're sitting here with Tammy Duncan. How are we doing today, Tammy?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you making time for us.
Hey, thanks for taking the drive.
I can only imagine how busy your schedule is.
Pretty busy. It's pretty busy.
So let's tell people what we're here for, right? So you're involved with the National Sisterhood United for Journeyman Linemen.
Yeah.
And let's talk about kind of how that got started in your role there.
So the National Sisterhood United for Journeyman Linemen is a nonprofit. Been around 14 years this year. There was a journeyman lineman named John Plant that lost his life 14 years ago. And a bunch of the wives and we call sisters, the sisterhood, all band together, collected some things for the family, some money, gift baskets, and then they were trying to find a way to be able to pass that on to the family. And they realized that there was no organization out there that had been put together yet that was a nonprofit to be able to help families in the particular classification when there was accidents or fatalities. So
okay,
that's how she was born.
Nice. So then it was a matter of, oh my gosh, nobody's helping here. Somebody needs to help.
Yeah. So there was a board of women put together.
Okay.
And ironically, the founding board members are not all on the board at this time, but you're going to find us. We're all spread out still inside of the industry, doing things in one way or another. Through their running companies, putting out the word of not one more.
Yep.
And running the other organizations. So
it is wild. A lot of people don't realize they hear about the line work in the industry and they think it's this big, huge thing. Don't get me wrong, it is big, but the network behind it is a very small network, and a lot of people are intermingled and intertwined in some of that, aren't they?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
it is. It takes a village. When something like this happens, it really takes a village. And everybody banding together can get stuff done quicker, faster, more efficient. Let the family be supported, feel the love, feel the brotherhood.
Yeah. Okay. So talk about your role involved in that today.
So I'm currently the president.
Okay.
So I travel, work on fundraising. I take in all of the accident calls, process those, try to make sure we stay in touch with families, just keep the ball rolling in a circle. And
unfortunately, the trend that we're seeing in the industry, that circle keeps going faster and faster for you, right?
Yeah.
Last year was bad.
Yeah. We took a hit last year. The industry overall took a really bad hit last year. We took in 50 reports, and those are only the union side.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody who has dealt with us knows that right now we're the only union affiliated. So
yep.
Those are the families that we help. We took in 50 reports last year, sent out just over $144,000 in support to those families. Now, if you take into account the non-union, and the numbers that they've brought in, and then the numbers that neither side even heard about, it's under the corner of the rug somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's been multiplying. For us alone, that was twice as many as the year before.
Yeah. And
then this year is already starting off just as bad.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that needs to happen, I think, in the industry to slow it down a bit.
Yeah. We're hopefully going to see some changes, and hopefully the numbers don't keep climbing like they have been, because nobody wants to see that. And you get a firsthand experience of that as much as anybody. So my hat goes off to you for stepping up and finding that role, because it's a lot of hard conversations.
It's hard conversations. It's emotion.
Yeah.
if you're traveling and you're meeting people and you're meeting families and you're talking, I mean, there's a few of us that go out and talk, like Kevin and whatnot, and then you hold your fundraisers and your benefits, you meet the people, and it's just not, hey, how you doing? It's, hey, how are you doing? How are the kids doing? You still got the dog you've had for 10 years. How's life treating you? So when something happens in those families, it's like family.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference.
For sure.
Yeah.
And for the mainstream part of that, everyone hears about an accident and you talk about it for a little bit, but by the time that person's out of the hospital, everybody's done talking about it, it seems like. But you guys are still right there involved. Like you said, the families, what age the kids are, how busy everybody is. And you're kind of that shoulder to lean on for a lot of them.
It is. So I have some widows that have been gracious enough to step up, and, I can give out their number. They're there 24/7. Anybody who calls me, you now have the 907 number. That's my cell number. So that gets me 24 hours a day. So when we hear about an accident or an injury, and anybody can report that, just so that everybody knows. Anybody can make a report. I don't care where it comes from. The sooner we get it, the faster we can help and the more efficient we can be. And we strive at doing it respectfully.
Yep.
Okay. So they can go online and they can fill out our accident report. Union halls will call us. Companies will call. We'll send out a text message that says, hey, this is who we are. We heard about what's happening. We want to send you emergency funds. That's $1,000 right out of the chute. I just need to know how to get it to you. I send that text message and then we leave them alone. There was a day and a time when people showed up at the hospitals. We did things like that. But at the end of the day, when you think about how you would want to be treated, you have to have that safe space too.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to build a relationship.
Yeah.
So we'll send that out and we'll wait. And then within a couple of days, we hear about it. So then we can send them that money, get it there as quickly as possible, and start that relationship for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, the ink dries, it's becomes old news. Okay. Yeah. Not a lot of people can stick around. People that do what we do and in the other organizations, we make friends that way. I made a little brother that way. I have somebody I helped who he's my little brother. And then we can be there through the long haul.
Yeah.
For us, it's up to 12 months. We can hang out and then we'll be there after that if we need to.
Yeah.
So
the human compassion that goes in behind these injuries and these fatalities is what a lot of people miss. It's not just a check you're handing them. It's that human compassion. It's a lineman gets hurt in January or gets killed fatally in January, and in June that widow is figuring out how to mow the grass and change the light bulbs and all that stuff without their husband now. Mm-hmm. And it's just a cycle that isn't easy to deal with. And being able to talk to people who have been through it helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty awesome thing.
It's a heartbreaking cycle to watch.
It is.
And companies handle it different. Crews handle it different. This last year we had an accident happen in the fall, and I've never seen the rally happen so good and so long. I mean, there's not a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Shortly after the accident happened, the crew had taken up like $25,000 in a couple of weeks themselves. And that helps us.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Because then that's money going to families to help. Our Help a Hero, brought in another 5 digits for her. The company itself stepped up. They sent a check to help. And then here we are 5-6 months later, and she still has that family there. They're still there. They're still checking on her. They're still making sure her holidays are filled. We didn't have to do Christmas. They called us and all the ladies wanted to do Christmas.
Yeah.
So to have that, and it's important that the industry knows that. It's important that the crews know that they're still going to need you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's reassuring to see that when something does happen, there are still people that will rally together, because that's what the Brotherhood's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be supporting each other, good times, hard times, all of that stuff, and be there to help whoever it needs to. I would like to think that people would help my wife if something happened to me.
right?
Yeah.
So it's good to know that there are still people out there that do that and think that way and do come together in these times of need, because I mean, we never want to see this stuff happen, but when it does, it takes a ton of bandwidth to help with this stuff.
It does. It takes a village. It takes a village. And the organizations are good at working together. We give out each other's names. You know, we get reports that come in that are non-union. We send them to the other 3 organizations.
Yep.
There's another organization that I'll share with you later too.
Okay.
Would be really good to help get out there. It's one that helps any construction fatality, like any across the board. So that encompasses, you know, not only the line workers, but everybody else. And that's another one that we share now because they help. So everybody banding together, whether it's union or non-union, and then the crews and the families just being there, it makes a huge, huge difference. And I don't think people realize that. If there's a help a hero, and if you give $5, right, somebody else gives $5, that's still $10.
Yep.
If that's all you've got to give $5.
Exactly.
If you can't do that, pray, because there's power in prayer. I don't care what people think. Things happen, and it just helps bring all the people together.
Yep. 100%. So you talk about all the giving you guys do and all that stuff. How do you get the funds? What do you do to raise funds? What's some events you have?
So I travel all year. I go to all of the IBEW progress meetings that we're invited to go to. I speak. That helps us reach all of the different union halls. We bring in funds from signatory contractors, you know, whether it's word of mouth, other people talking about us sending out goodie packs. If any contractor, you know, says, hey, send me some stuff. When they have safety meetings, we'll send them stickers and flyers and stuff to throw out there for their people. Donations that come in memory of.
Okay.
We do once a year our biggest fundraiser, which is coming up June 26th, 27th in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. It's the Climbing for Lost Linemen ceremony on Friday night, where we will hang lanterns for all of the brothers that we lost this last calendar year.
Oh, wow.
And their widows come into town. So we get to, you know, be there for them, strengthen some relationships, help them make new relationships with other people that are there. And then the next day we roll that into a bunch of fun. And it's another good old fashioned lineman rodeo.
Yeah.
A little bit more laid back than what everybody is used to. There's barbecue grills going on. Jambalaya is going to be cooked this year. And the guys just come in and compete and go home happy. And
so it's having fun, but it's also helping. More than most people can ever realize.
Yeah. This year we've doubled our sponsorships coming in.
Great.
From last year, which is really good because we're almost, my goal for rodeo was to try to bring in enough sponsorships to fill that money that we sent out last year.
Yep.
And then bring in, you know, a little bit more if we can. If not, I am so happy to just fill that spot.
Yeah.
And we're within 20,000.
That's
of
awesome.
recouping that, which is
so
great.
Close.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one that caught my attention, and that's actually what drove me to start this conversation is I live in Indiana.
Yeah.
So I have the option on my license plate to get the specialized plate, right?
Yes.
So touch on that.
So IBW 1393 has what is called the Lineman Specialty Plate. Anybody in the state could actually get it. So anybody can go in and do the registration on their vehicle, ask for the lineman plate, and that gets us a certain amount of money. So last year, and I always thank all of the members from 1393 because they were behind this baby and you know, they got it going and they nurture it for us really well. Last year we brought in $18,000, and that is just doing something that you have to do every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, every year.
That's awesome part.
Register your license plate.
You're doing it anyhow.
Help us.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's one that I thought was a really cool aspect is you're doing it anyhow. Now you get to actually help while you're doing it. Yeah. And you also get a cool license plate that has a lineman climbing on it and stuff, and people like it, right? So it kind of does multiple things at the same time. Are there any other places that do that same setup? Or is that the only one?
That is the only state that is 100% set up for NSUJL.
Okay.
I'm
cool.
working on Pennsylvania. because that's another state where we have a lot of support and a lot of people that we know right out of the chute would help us get the petition.
Yep.
Some states require you to have so many signatures to get that specialty plate in. I am going to try to get it set up for every state that we are a nonprofit in right now,
Okay.
which is probably 6 other states.
Okay.
And then another big thing that helps bring in funds for us is, union halls do events, companies do events, right? 1393 also does a hooligan golf outing
That's awesome.
is going to happen here in July. 876 up there in Michigan, Sam. He's wonderful. He's some new blood. I love it. He's shaking it up, bringing in great things for that union hall. He's actually doing a golf tournament this year too.
Awesome.
In July.
Yeah.
And so I'll be going up to both of those.
Okay.
And running around. I don't play golf, but if there's marshmallows on the field, that might be me.
There you go.
If anybody goes to those and you take off your cap for your club and you come back and, your eagle head or your beaver head or whatever's gone,
Yep.
that'll be us. Because we just ride around in the golf cart.
Having fun.
We steal it,
Yep.
hold it ransom.
There you go.
Get it after. But then, when they do those, people buy in or they donate to sponsor those. And then that gives them a chance to be able to donate money.
That's great.
So 876 told us that they're giving us all their kitty this year.
That's cool.
And I think they're doing a rifle or a handgun auction at the same time too.
Yeah. I love to see people get behind and drives things that are fun, that people are having fun doing and enjoying it, but also bringing a light to what you do at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So we can't get enough of that kind of stuff, especially the rate we're going.
Yeah,
in the
that's
industry.
good.
So, now I know that you're very passionate about the industry, not only from the injury side point and all of that, but your husband's a lineman, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, kind of talk about that. How long have you been married? How long has he been in the trade? That kind of stuff, because I think that helps shape a little bit of how passionate you are about this thing.
It definitely does. So I come from a 911 background and
Okay.
enhanced 911 operator. So that's me. I think I'm service driven. Anyway, I like to help people when, they're in that state. I had moved to Alaska. I always wanted to live there. I'm from Maine, like Spit, Canada, northern Maine. So I moved to Alaska. I met my husband up there about 20 years ago.
So you say that like it's just something people do all the time,
Moved to
right?
Alaska.
Yeah. Was that like a childhood dream for you, or?
It was my dad's.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I love snow.
Fair enough.
I love to fish.
Yeah.
I love to hunt. I love to shoot. Great fundraising ideas there. Fishing.
That's
hunting,
awesome. Yeah.
I'll be there. I go to the golf outings too. Okay, I do. But fishing, hunting, I'm in.
Okay.
And then I met him. We were kind of set up. We were single. Some friends sat us beside each other at a Christmas bazaar. He's 30 years IBEW.
Okay.
He just reached his 30-year mark
That's
in
awesome.
October. As an apprentice, he rode the pole to the ground, busted up his ankle really bad, busted up his knee, spent some time in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Live some of it firsthand.
Yeah. He's like every other journeyman lineman out there, almost 80% divorced. So, I watched his kids for him in the beginning and then moved in so he could go to the village and, wow, we never left. So
Okay.
here we are 20 years later.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to be a lineman for 30 years, there's something to be said by itself for that, right? Because you don't do that if you're not doing things the right way.
Right.
You got to be safe. You got to pay attention. You got to watch your crew. You got to do all that stuff to make it 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be, I don't know, they call them those old D cards and, they say some of them are kind of
Rough around the edges.
rough around the edges.
Yeah.
I was trying to find another word.
I bet you were.
And that's true. I mean, there's something to be said, I think, in the people that were joining the industry then.
Yep.
They wanted adventure. They wanted challenge. The money was good. Retirement was a big thing.
That's it.
Now there's so many other reasons people are coming in.
Yeah.
One of the biggest advertising now is you're going to make great money. It's good money. You can travel. You can get a retirement. And, that attracts a little bit of a different mindset sometime. But it's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it from the sidelines. I hear it firsthand.
Yep.
There's a lot of change that's coming. I think it's good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like any change, right?
Kind of pick it all.
Yeah. And I have a lot of people reach out to me. Oh, I think I want to be a lineman. Oh, what's it really like? And I'll have the hard conversation with them because it's not the big jacked up trucks and the huge paychecks.
No.
It is holidays away from your family. It's getting called in the middle of the night. It's working in all kinds of weather conditions. It might be going on storm for 2 weeks straight or having to work out of town for a year straight because there's not work close to your house. All that kind of stuff is part of the industry. Mm-hmm. And if you're not ready for that, you don't even need to start.
Yeah. As a, male or female, anybody going into it, if you don't like to work outside, if you're afraid of some rain, if you don't like to be cold, and if you can't get up in the morning.
Yep.
I'm a night owl. Sleeps really good between 4 and 10. Anybody who knows me knows that. I think my husband's been getting up at 4 a.m. his whole life. He still does it on Saturday and Sunday. We kind of joked about this before.
Yep.
There's that mindset, right? If they can't do that, then they should just find something that fits.
That's it.
On the flip side of that, they also have to be very careful about the partner that they choose.
Yep.
Independence is great. Codependency is not. Mm-hmm. I don't care what people say. You got to kind of take it back a little bit. Our grandmas did a really good job raising big families with lots of kids back then. I have my role. You have your role. It's okay if we don't mow the lawn when you're gone. You're not going to really care because you probably want to come back and mow it yourself anyway. My husband, he does this like diagram thing.
Oh, yeah. Don't mess it up.
I think he's out there trying to make little diamonds or something, wasting time because that's just something else. But, if the dishwasher breaks, just suck it up as the woman at home for a little bit.
Yep.
And let them focus. If they're on storm, let them focus on storm.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
Because you can call somebody to come fix it. You can YouTube it these days.
Yeah.
There's just so much that as a woman, we've got to pick our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
there's enough driving factors behind these industries and fatalities. There's enough going on pushing those already. You don't need that mental focus from all the phone calls every 5 minutes and all that other stuff to be another factor that's affecting you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I know that when my husband goes to work, when he gets out of that truck to climb that pole, his phone is in his lunchbox.
Yep.
If there's an emergency, I don't know when anybody would call. Well, I got hit head on one time and somebody called him, right? I probably would have just waited until the end of whatever because he's not going to do anything. He can't go to the hospital and fix anything. But I wait until after work if he's gone for any of that. And then I pick and choose it because really I just want to know, how are you doing? How was your day? Is all the equipment running okay? Everybody getting along? 'Cause you guys are like kindergarten kids.
Yeah.
Like you get along really good for a week and then somebody doesn't like Johnny because he bit a sandwich or something stupid,
Yep.
And then... just kind of pick and choose it. Like there's a lot of stuff that can just wait.
Yeah. Time and a place.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be learned for time and a place. That's for sure.
Wait.
Yep. So do you have any stories that stick out in mind that really the impact of the NSUJL really had for a family? Is there any? I know there's a ton of them and you probably could stand here for 3 weeks talking straight about it, but is there any that's kind of like, hey, I'll never forget this one?
We did. We had last year we had a lineman that an incident happened while he was on storm that left him in a wheelchair. Mm. And sadly, he's going to be in that wheelchair for the rest of his life. So that was a huge, huge change. Middle-aged family,
Yep.
kind of when you're in your empty nest and you've got the grandkids right at the beginning of that. But, she's stay at home because, we're lucky. If you've got the right thing happening and you're good teammates, you got a really good life that way. You can be at home just holding down the front. So that was their situation. So they had to go from running storms and having regular work to now we got to figure out what we're going to do. Workers' comp, working on long-term disability, because now, wheelchair and sometimes when you have accidents, things happen and you may not be 100% mentally there like you were before. And that, that's part of one of the cases. So we were able to stay with that family and help them out. It was 12 months.
Oh my.
So we helped supplement their income for 12 months while her and I worked together and, kind of trying to guide them in the right place.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's time to get rid of, maybe the extra vehicle that you really don't need, or if you're not tramping and you're not going to be traveling now, it might be time to sell the fifth wheel.
Yep.
And just kind of find your new normal. I hate the term, but that's what it really becomes.
Yeah.
And it's not your choice.
No.
So you just have to find it and figure it out.
Yeah.
And so we're able to help with that. And that
awesome.
that makes you feel good to be able to help with that. It's such a crappy reason that you have to.
Yeah.
And I really wish it wasn't the case, but to be able to let them be able to stay in their house, right? We worked with the local union hall back in North Carolina. We got a wheelchair ramp with some volunteers built onto the front of their house.
That's awesome.
Did their Trex decking, and in case they end up, downsizing or whatever, they can resell their house. But it makes a huge difference, and people don't see it. People don't know it. We're pretty careful about sharing anything that has to do with a family.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see those things. We don't.
Yeah. Behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. It's there. We, even with the union halls, proud people. Linemen are proud people.
Yeah.
And there are some linemen that have taken help, but if their union hall knew about it, there's no way they would do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
If all their brothers knew it, they wouldn't do it.
That's it.
But
Yep.
when it happens, just take it.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell anybody, we're going to say, we took in 50 reports last year. And we sent out this much money, and that's as far as it goes.
And it is hard. It is hard for these families and these guys, especially that have always been that big, burly, tough guy, full of pride. I'll take care of it. I'll fix it. I'll do whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And now their life gets flipped upside down, and they're feeling helpless for the first time in their life. Their family's frustrated because, like you said, it's a new normal. You've got to figure out how to go about all these things completely different. And there's a lot going on there behind the scenes.
Mentally, physically, physically we can help with some things.
Yep.
If they're in the hospital, she needs a babysitter, we'll do the best we can do to find somebody. If you need, the house cleaner, we can get Mary Maids over there and help get stuff squared away before he comes home from the hospital. We can get the union hall to go get somebody to mow a lawn. There's plenty of apprentices that need something to do. Brothers are they're always willing to get out there and help.
Yeah. And it's okay to ask for it.
It's okay to ask for it.
Yeah.
Mentally, we'll help with that too. I mean, I'm available 24/7. They text, they call. Even guys will text and call. I talked an apprentice out of canceling a wedding once when he got burnt.
Isn't that crazy?
He just decided he just didn't think he wanted to do that.
Yeah, he was in his head.
For the rest of her life. And I had to ask him, who was at the hospital with you?
Yep.
Was she there? Was she in the room? How many weeks? How many months?
Oh, wow.
And now you want to leave her?
Yeah.
If she's there with you in the hospital and she's walking that walk with you, you have found your life partner.
Yeah.
Because it's not about money. It's not about the good times. You find that best life partner when you're down here.
Yeah.
That
sure.
ride or die down here, that's going to be your best person in retirement later on, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, that's hard to do. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
But like you said, they get in their head, and we'll help with that. We'll make phone calls. We'll screen to try to find the right therapist for you. If something is happening and, Lineco isn't going to pay for it or whatever insurance company, we have funds set aside for that. We'll help with that. We know other organizations that will help with that as well. So when we call and say that we want to help, it's short-term financial, it's long-term financial, it's physical needs. If you tell us what the need is, we're going to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like she was really concerned about bringing her husband home and getting in and out of the house and stairs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to get my husband in and out my front door if he is in a wheelchair.
No chance. Yep. Exactly right.
So,
and most wouldn't.
No, right?
Yep.
Because you buy these houses.
Yep. That's exactly right.
I buy big houses.
Yeah. You don't
right?
think about a wheelchair access when you're buying their house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, we can help with that. And then we don't stop there. we have some scholarships available.
Okay.
PG&E helped us start a John Plant scholarship. So if there is somebody who is is from a trade family, like, say you had a son.
Yep.
And you said, hey, he wants to go to line school. Can we get money for books?
That's awesome.
We'll send it.
Okay.
Children, the children that have grown up without their parent,
Okay.
they can notify us after high school when they're looking for colleges, and we will help them.
That's huge.
So
Yeah.
it go between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on where they're going
That's awesome.
and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we'll do that for them every year. If our fund builds more and we get more money in there, then we would probably even move that up, because there's a lot of money to go each and every semester.
Yeah. School's expensive.
But some of these kids, they grow up tough.
Yeah.
They grow up tough. We had a young lady lost her dad. I want to say 10. If I'm wrong and she hears this, I'm sorry. But she wrote us the best letter last year.
Okay.
And she builds robotics, and she's done stuff with competitions, and she's going to be working for NASA or something big.
That's awesome.
The strength she got out of losing her father and what she did with her emotions is amazing.
So she reached out to you 10 years later, roughly? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's when you're making an impact.
It was 10 years. She sent us the letter.
That's awesome.
She signed it with her name and then her daddy's name and his number at the bottom.
Wow.
So we sent her $2,500, and she starts school this fall.
That's great.
She's going to do great. We're going to stand behind her.
Heck
Maybe
yeah.
in 10 years, somebody gets got her graduation or however long it takes her, but she's going to do great things.
That's awesome.
She's going to do great things.
That's awesome.
And then we do our Christmas. At Christmas time, we have a big
Yep.
giving tree. And then anybody can sponsor families or donate money. And we make sure that the families that we've been with throughout the year, that are getting less income than what they're used to, can still provide those Christmases for the kids.
Yep.
So people will sign up they'll either adopt a family or donate money. And then we send them at least, a decent amount. We try to stay right around $250. And then we're all shopping the sales and,
making it go as far as you can. Yeah.
And they get to do a wish list. So
that's awesome.
It's not that we're just picking, they send us the Amazon wish list and we go in there and try to get as much of it as we can. And
that's great.
So
yeah, what you can when you can, right? Yeah.
A whole lot in 12 months.
So outside of the fundraising part of it, what's one of the biggest challenges you have to keep something like this up and running, right? Obviously the funds is a big deal, but what else is another big challenge that you face?
Volunteers.
Okay.
Volunteers. I feel like we're in the baby boom again. I really do. So right now, me and one other person are pretty much primarily traveling to do all our fundraising. So I'm going everywhere that we have been invited.
Yep.
So I'm traveling at least every week or every other week for the next couple of months.
Oh, wow.
And then I have 2 other board members that have taken a little bit of time. One of them is meeting me in Massachusetts. One of them just spent some time with me in New Jersey and Washington, D.C. We need volunteers.
Okay.
Preferably computer-oriented. Anybody who's good with design, anybody who's good with numbers, is great. Other people that are, soul servants that may, have some good life experience that they can pull from to help work some accidents. Somebody that can travel, go hang out with me at golf outings. If I'm, in Indiana and you live in Indiana, that always works out great. If not, and we can get you there, then we'll definitely get you there.
Okay.
To help us out.
Perfect. So never enough Indians helping the tribe, right?
There's never. Our village is thin sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes the village is thin.
I guarantee it. So let's talk about support from the line community, right?
Yeah.
I know whenever you have an accident, there's support around that accident. Yeah. What kind of support could you expect or you would like to get from the line community when there's not an accident?
When there's not an accident, gosh, just number one, make safety. Make safety like that's your day. Okay. When you get up in the morning, I mean, you drink the right temperature coffee, right? You don't go to McDonald's or wherever, Burger King, let's name 6 more, and buy the coffee that's too hot and scald your mouth. Okay.
Yep.
You've learned that.
Yep.
Okay. When you go through the apprenticeship, you're told stuff, you learn stuff. So number 1, safety. That's the biggest way to help. The day that they don't need us, we're going to have a big celebration.
Yeah.
But
the biggest party ever.
It's a need right now.
Yeah.
So, getting up, working safe, making sure that other people know who we are and what we do. Don't be afraid to share it. Don't let your pride get in your way if there's something that's happened. Don't let anybody's pride to get in their way if somebody else needs help. Call, text, tell us you heard about the accident. Tell us what you know about the family. We're working really hard at getting in front of apprenticeship schools, right? Because today's apprentices are going to become tomorrow's foremen. They're going to work their way up. Some of them are going to go in the office.
Yep.
They're going to be the business manager. The more apprentices that know who we are, the less work we have to do later. Because I don't know what they keep having. No, those elections booting them out and I have to keep starting back over in the offices, right?
Yep.
So, we're working really hard at making sure the apprentices know so that they can move up to the ranks and have that information already.
Yep. So help spread that awareness.
Just, yeah. I mean, and it can be done by so many ways. You can buy a shirt. It helps us. You wearing it, people are going to ask questions, wear it to your functions. People are going to see it. If we're in front of them somewhere, somehow, then that helps.
Okay.
Follow us on Facebook, social media.
Yep.
Following our page, that's a great way. And that's a great way to see where I'm at and what we're doing. Because so right now, all of the companies that haven't donated for sponsorships for the rodeo can see if their opposing company has,
Yep.
I mean, I like to, pit them against each other when we can.
A little friendly competition.
For the union halls,
Yep.
I mean, if you haven't, hit our platinum sponsorship yet, look at who has and, but just, I mean, make it fun if you have to. Just, I don't care. As long as somebody's talking about us somewhere, somehow.
Perfect.
It's all going to help in the end.
Perfect. So if someone's listening out there and they want to help and they want to get involved, how do they get in contact with you? Is the website the best way?
They can go to the website. They can hit the contact form.
Okay.
That comes straight to me.
Okay.
They can email me directly. It's super simple. It's just the generic Tammy, Tammy, at NSUJL.org.
Okay. And that .org is important.
The .org, yes. Don't go .com. I don't know where it's going to go. But it will come right to me. I mean, I always answer within usually 12 hours. I don't sleep much. So I usually will get away. If there's if a company like yours or another company wants to band together and do something, a golf outing, a family barbecue, anything where we can come and be like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. And just hang out for the camaraderie.
Yep.
That helps a lot.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you can say, hey, Tammy, we're having a ski shoot, or I don't care. If you want to chase pigs in the mud, okay, I'll come play. And the more people that, get to have fun with us, then they remember.
Yeah.
We see so much sad stuff and take so many sad calls or frustrating calls. Sometimes it's just fun to come out and play and let you see the other side of us and be like, oh yeah,
that's it.
Hey, let's call her now that, shit's hit the fan and we need help or this family has. And
well, it ties it all back to the human factor, like we talked about earlier, right? It's all a human factor. And it's like that, whether you're going through an accident or a fatality, or whether you're going through an everyday Monday, whatever it is, there's human factors involved. Right. And being able to see all sides of that makes a difference sometimes.
Oh yeah. So many.
Yeah.
So many. Yeah.
So is there anything you want to say to anybody that we didn't touch on today? Anything I missed?
I don't think so. I think I just really want, I just really like a lot of the other organizations out there. I think that we just really want people to go back to the time where people thought about what they were doing, followed through on how they wanted to do it. They wanted to do it safe, and they weren't afraid to speak up when it wasn't safe.
That is perfect. Yeah.
we obviously come from the union background, and you do as well.
Yep.
And we know that there are avenues out there to allow you to stand up and to speak up. And the more people that do that, it's just like the union, right? What the union says, one voice for all,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all one voice. If everybody just made it their thing in the next months to be like, if I see something that's not right, I feel something that's not right, I just know it's not right. Stand up and say something. Either stop the work, tell the foreman, talk amongst yourselves if you have to.
Yep.
And sit out. But until that happens, we're powerless.
That's it. Yep.
So just go back. Just remember,
Yep.
one voice is powerful.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of people standing behind it and help us make that change.
Stand up for the right things the right way.
Yeah.
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 100%.
You've got that golden ticket,
100%.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
I like that message. I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people out there, and people need to hear it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You guys go out and find NSUJL.org, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
That's it for today's episode of Power Grid Talks, from the bucket trucks to the boardrooms. I'm your host, Tom Williamson. I want to thank you for joining me as we talk to the people behind the scenes who keep our grid strong. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give it a share, and leave a review so we can keep bringing more voices from across the utility world to the conversation table. You can also find us at PowerGridTalks.com. Until next time, stay safe and keep the power flowing.